Ladies and gentlemen, in this Red Gamer Telecom video, we're going to be discussing Advanced Warfare's resolution. The developers are simply unwilling right now to comment on what the resolution of the title will be. Speaking to OXM, Mike Mijita has actually said that the studio is happy where they are right now, but they're still working on it. They said they're 60 FPS all the way, and we're not talking about the resolution. We're waiting for the announcement and find out what we're actually going to be doing with it. But I can tell you that a 3-year development title we have had, working with everyone involved to make sure we're getting it right, and we're still optimizing the game, and even where we are right now, we're really happy. And they actually said that they're further than what they were last year, and we still have all the time. We have a couple of months still to go. Now, they did very briefly touch on the Xbox One developer update as well as the PS4 to a degree. They've said that all the stuff is coming online too. As we talk to all the first-party partners that we have, and we have a direct connection to those guys, all the stuff is coming online now. I know we're working with everyone. We're working with Sony, we're working with Microsoft, and we're really happy with what we're looking at. So, just in case your memory's bad or you didn't remember, the original next generation iteration of Call of Duty, of course, which was Ghosts, ran at 720p on launch on the Xbox One, at 1080p on the PS4. However, it's fair to say that there were a number of issues on multiple formats. There was a patch release for the Xbox One which actually hurt the frame rates quite badly, actually, despite the fact the frame rate for launch of Call of Duty Ghosts was actually comparable, maybe even slightly better than the PS4, but a patch kind of nuked that advantage. In fact, it was just left with a lower resolution. But you can easily blame Infinity Ward for this. Infinity Ward, they kind of did bad things to Call of Duty Ghosts, if I'm totally honest. Even on a super duper high-end PC rig, the game just didn't seem to run quite well. You actually had people with, like, Titans just not able to run the game as it should be. And considering, at the end of the day, the game's engine is pretty old. I mean, it's also compatible on the PS4, and the developers, quite simply put, blamed the fact that they were overly ambitious. I suppose the same line could be said, I suppose, for, let's say, Battlefield 4 as well. However, Sledgehammer are the ones that are leading the development, at least for the next generation consoles and the PC. High Moon, meanwhile, are responsible for the PS3 and Xbox 360 version. And for the most part, I think you can agree that they are slightly better respected in terms of their coding. So we're just going to have to see what happens. At the moment, there's not super amounts of detail regarding the engine. All we could do is wait. The title, of course, is being released early November. I believe it's the 4th, if memory serves. So we don't have super long to wait. Can they bring back a 1080p experience for both consoles? Remains to be seen. However, I think for the most part, even a slightly lower resolution would be acceptable as long as the frame rate was rock solid. There's nothing worse than having the frame rate dip up and down, up and down, up and down when you're trying to line up that sniper shot. And the problem with Ghosts, and this issue was present on the PC version. I never actually got around to reviewing it on the channel, but when I was doing some testing initially before I got to recording it, and then there was just a whole set of circumstances why I just didn't end up recording it, mostly because by the time I got to it, it was just far too late. But when I was doing initial testing, setting the game up, setting up the graphics options, and just doing the first mission and getting used to the gameplay, even when I was just using weapons and aiming down sights and stuff, you'd notice a little bit of loading, a little bit of latency, and obviously this was released, so some of the patches hadn't been implemented yet. And considering that I was using quite high spec system at the time, it just didn't really make sense. At the time, I've upgraded my graphics card since, but I was using a GTX 680. And you shouldn't really feel that there's latency and frame rate issues on a GTX 680 considering the game looked how it did. So I think for many, we're just going to have to wait and see what Advanced Warfare brings us. I think Sledgehammer games definitely have a better pedigree. So come on, guys, impress us with your graphical prowess. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.